Hello, welcome to Plant-Based Large Family. Today I'm going to do a video on winter sowing. So I didn't do this last year because I was just in the first part of pregnancy, so I was just too tired to do it, but this is what I do most winters. So I ask neighbors and friends for milk jugs because we don't drink milk, we're plant-based, and then I cut holes in them, which I showed you in another video, but I take a glue gun without the glue, because it's just hot metal and it pokes holes and then pokes holes all through the bottom. And then I went into the chicken run where the chickens have been, now not here you see grass, but beyond that fence it's shaded by trees, and they've eaten down the grass and scratched it up, and so they take dust baths in there, and we'll put our compost in there. And so this is what we end up with. Lots of leaves and pine straw and soil. And then I put it through this. Ugh, I have a bug on me. Then I put it through this fencing that I just put on top of this bucket. And this is what we end up with. Now, I don't normally sift it this fine, and I was worried, or not worried, but I was concerned that if I put that fine of soil into, or compost, into these, that all of the goodness would just leach out the bottom. So what I did was I went ahead and got the rough compost and put that in the milk jugs. And next I'm going to pour water, and you're just wetting the soil. I haven't planted anything yet. Okay, so see how it went down? It was level with this, and it went down like, what is that, an inch, half an inch? And then I'll put the fine compost on top of that. So I put the fine compost on top. Then in this one, I will go ahead and plant some cabbage. I have green cabbage and red cabbage, and I have cauliflower. So I'm going to go ahead and plant, I don't know that I'll plant all of them in this. It's just, I would love to plant one, variety per greenhouse, but unfortunately I don't have that many greenhouses and I have a lot of variety. So I just go ahead and plant all the cabbages in one, and all the broccoli in one, and all the onions in one. And for the onions, I find I cut the deepest one for the onions, and they do really well when I transplant them. So next I will plant the seeds, and then I will cover them again with the fine compost. Okay, so I planted the seeds, I put more fine compost, I'm going to water it one last time. Oh, and I patted it down, and then watering it one last time. And then the last thing to do is to cover it and put duct tape around it, and then label it. Duct tape around it, and so that makes it the greenhouse. I mean, if you've seen this online, you know what the premise is. But these are just some tips that I've learned doing it over the years. This is about my 4th year doing these. And then what they recommend online is taking a Sharpie and writing what you planted on top. However, that every single year, no matter how I've done it, it always comes off in the rain and the snow. So I did it a little differently this year, and I can't imagine why this wouldn't work, but I tied one piece of string here, and then I wrote in my notebook that cabbage is the one with the one string, and then I'll tie 2 strings on another, 3, 4, 5, and just keep it like that. That's the only way I can really keep up with it, because they get moved around as it gets, so they get opened up and they get closed back in the spring, and then if we have late frost, which we always do, they get moved inside. So every time they get moved, you lose track of what they are. And I plant so many greenhouses that you just lose track in general. So I will just do that with the rest of these, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. But basically, rough compost, water, sifted compost, water, plant, water, or plant, pat down, more compost, water, duct tape, and then somehow label. And it may seem like a lot of work, but when you don't have any money to buy any sort of setup for indoors, and frankly I don't have the room indoors either, it's either this or buy transplants. And last year I bought transplants, and it's not a big deal, but I have all these seeds, might as well use them, you know? So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. So as soon as I finished these 6 milk jugs, it was time for the baby to wake up. So I went ahead and stopped, and I think I have probably 6 more to go before I'll be done. And I will go ahead and do those, probably just another nice day. These are planted with seeds that do well even with cool weather. 2 types of cabbage and cauliflower, 2 types of onion, 2 types of broccoli, asparagus, flowers, and 3 types of lettuce. The next batch, I guess you could call it, of greenhouses I will plant in more warm weather crops. You know, tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, melons, things like that. I hope you try winter sowing this winter. It's relatively easy, and you'll see in the spring how you reap a reward. This is the hardest part. You know, after this, you do literally nothing until it gets warm, and then all you do is take the duct tape off and open it up on sunny days. So give winter sowing a try. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.